Welcome everyone. Hope you can see me. My name's Stuart Sidders and it's great to have you along for this Pure Maths Workout 2. So I can see that we've got a few people coming on board. Just give you a few moments just to introduce yourselves. And I've got, hi Erica, I can see you're on. It's a lovely sunny day here, by the way, in sunny Watford, Hertfordshire. So I hope it's looking that way with you guys out there. And hopefully you're staying safe as well in these odd conditions that we're facing. Okay, so I can see more people coming on, and it's good to have Michael from Maths Tuition. Give us a thumbs up, Michael, if you're there. He's going to be stepping in, answering any questions, and just checking out what you say. So, yeah. Just while people getting on, okay, I'll just give you a quick rundown. During this, I'm going to be showing you 5 questions, and they're going to be on quadratic inequalities. We're going to be looking at stationary points. There'll be a question on the factor theorem and also logs, and one on circles. So with a few revision notes just to guide you on the side when we bring up the solutions. So yeah, this is my second Pure Maths workout. We've got another one tomorrow, 10 o'clock. In fact, they're going to continue like this into next week. And we'll be doing some mechanics and some statistics. I put out a poll on my YouTube channel on the community page. And it's great to see what you guys are wanting. So if you go there, you can enter onto that poll and give us some feedback. And also, just while you guys are coming on, check out the description below. You'll find where there's a diary, a link to a diary of events. It'll tell you what's coming up over the next week. Okay, so I think we'll be getting ready to start. So it's good to have you guys out there. Okay, so let's just bring up the first solution, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so right, there it is. Okay, solve this quadratic inequality. X squared minus x minus 6 is greater than 0. So hopefully a nice one to start you off, and leave you just to see how that's going. Okay, so good to see some more people coming on. And yep. Am I still doing videos over the Easter? Yes, that will be the case. So all being well, that is, assuming that stay clear of this virus. And yeah, okay. So, how are we doing, guys? This should only take about, this whole session, about 20 minutes, okay, all being well. So they're designed to be fairly quick, short questions. Right, Ether, I hope I've got that right. You've come up with a solution. And we'll see if anybody else agrees with that. Any other answers out there from anybody else? Interesting to see which way you attempt this type of question. Very common one to get at the AS level. You'll also see it on GCSE papers as well, the higher level. So good one for just brushing up your revision. So, anybody else trying this one? Okay, should be getting some solutions. We've got Erica coming in with her solution. Does anybody else agree with Erica? Claire's coming up. X is greater than 3. Interesting answers here. Just shows how you are possibly tackling this. Claire's coming up with X is greater than -2. All right. We'll just wait a little bit longer for anybody else who's going to give me some answers. Do any of you give any different ones? Okay. Right. Okay, so it's good to see we have a correct solution out there, okay? And it has to be Erica who's given me the correct solution. So well done, Erica, for that. And let's just run through this. This is the method that I would encourage you to use, and that is that I've set out the inequality, the quadratic inequality. You factorize it, and it's still greater than 0, okay? Now, I've put down here critical values. These are points where this would equal 0, and you can see I've drawn a sketch graph of y equals x squared minus x minus 6. And so the significance of these critical values is basically where y is 0, and that will be where it crosses the x-axis. Now, it's a positive x squared, so you can see all I've done is sketch a U-shape for a positive x squared graph. If it was a negative x squared graph, it would be the other way. Now, what I'm looking for is from the graph, I'm looking for where y, this is this bit here, is greater than 0. That gives us values above the x-axis. And you can see that you would need to substitute values of x less than -2 or x values that are greater than 3. Okay, so hope you've been able to see that. And over the sessions to come, we'll return to this kind of thing. And hopefully you'll be getting to grips with this. Okay, so let's see what the next one is. Question 2 of the 5. This time we're looking at stationary points. And the question is, if y equals x cubed minus 3x squared plus x plus 1, find the exact, okay, there's a bit of a clue there, the exact x coordinates of the stationary points. So see how you get on with that one. Okay, so should only take a little while. Some of you guys might be using a calculator out there, I don't know, but if you are, the Casio, just going to put a little ad in here. I hope Casio are listening, but the Casio ClassWiz calculator, great one to purchase. It does many things, and you're allowed it in the exams. I'm sure many of you have most probably got that calculator already. If not, I would certainly recommend it. Okay, so how we doing? Doing these tutorials, I hope it's putting you under a little bit of pressure, some of you, just to, it helps, I think, when it comes to exams, just trying to have to work under pressure. So it's a good skill to have developed. So I'm looking for a simplified answer. The more simplified it is, the better it will be, shall we say. Okay, but we can accept a few variations on the answer, I'm sure. So, anybody out there able to give us the solution to this one? Okay. Hopefully the other ones that are coming up shortly are going to be a bit shorter. We have Ether giving us 1 plus root 2. Interesting result there. I'm not saying whether it's right or not at this stage. How does anybody else check out on this one? Obviously taking a little bit of time, this one. Hope the other ones are going to be a bit quicker. We have another answer coming in here. 3 plus root 6 divided by 3. If that is 3 plus root 6 divided by 3, if it's all over 3, I would put that in brackets. If, as it stands, that's saying 3 plus root 6 over 3, Abraham. Okay, so I'm not too sure what you mean by that. This gives good practice actually in writing mathematics in the correct form when you've got to write it on a straight line, by the way. So interesting exercise there. Maybe good for setting up a question maybe later on something like this. Okay, right, well, we don't seem to be yeah, Abraham, you're not too far off. Okay, anybody else out there? Otherwise, I'm going to have to bring this to a close. This question, it's taking too long for this. Okay, I'll give you another 30 seconds. All right, so let's see if anybody else can come out with the solution on this. Just to give you some guidelines. At stationary points, you should have passed this bit. Stationary points, the curve has 0 gradient. It's flat. So you're going to need to differentiate our equation with respect to x and set dy by dx equal to 0. Solve that equation and that will give you the x coordinates of the point. Okay, so I think our 30 seconds is up and I'm going to give you the solutions to this one. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so as I said earlier, at stationary points over here, you can see your curve. This isn't necessarily this graph here. You would expect your, at the stationary points, the gradient of the tangent to be 0. So dy dx is always 0. So what I've done is just differentiate this in the usual way with respect to x. And at the stationary points, set dy dx equal to 0, which leads to a quadratic equation. And because I mentioned the exact here, that was a clue that it wasn't necessarily going to factorize, so I would have immediately gone to the quadratic formula. So I've used the quadratic formula, and you can see that I've substituted my values for a, b and c in, and it comes out at 6 plus or minus root 24 over 6, which I've used surds here. The root of 24 can be broken down to the root of 4 times the root of 6. You can square root 4 and get that too. And you can divide top and bottom by 2 and you'll get this result here. 3 plus or minus root 6 over 3. So if you didn't get that, hopefully you can see how to do it. By the way, I'm going to quickly go on to the next one, but if you do want to run these questions through, obviously at the end, you can pause the video at any stage and try them out again. Okay, so I'm going to move on quickly, and we're going to move on to the third question now, which is solving log equations. You've got to solve this one. 2 log of x in base 3 minus the log of x minus 2 in base 3 equals 2. So I'm assuming that you might be familiar with working out log equations. So give that a go. It shouldn't take too long to do this one. So I'd like to think some answers are going to come through in a couple of minutes maybe. Okay, if not quicker. Do feel free, by the way, if you want to ask questions. Nice to see people asking questions here. And Michael from Maths Tuition is online to help you out. So thank you very much, Michael. And great to see your input. By the way, you can always go on the ExamSolutions website. It's been free for, what now? We're coming into our 14th year. I'm the guy, Stuart Sidders, who's written all the videos that you see there. And hopefully you go back there. You'll see tutorials on all of this stuff. Okay, if you're stuck. Okay, I see we get some answers coming in now. Okay, we see CB writing 3 and 6, and we got some more coming in with 3 and 6. Astronaut seems to say 36, but I'm sure you really meant 3 and 6 by the looks of it. Erica there, 3 and 6. Okay, I think you'll guess now that the answers are 3 and 6. So let me just take you through this. Okay, here we go. Okay, so with log equations, you've got to bring them down to 2 terms, basically. At the moment, we've got 1, 2, 3 terms. And to bring them down to 2 terms, you've got to have the logs grouped together and generally a number on the other side of the equation. Okay, so what I've done is I've written out on the right here, very quickly, the log rules. Do check them out. Come back later on and check out these rules. But I'm using the majority of them here. Use the power rule first of all. Bring the 2 up. And then I've got the subtraction of 2 logs here. I can group them up by this rule here, the subtraction rule. And it turns out that you divide these 2. Then I anti-log, as I say, or take the inverse of the logs. And I'm using this rule down here. So you've got the base 3 to the power 2 here, gives us our value here. This leads into a simple equation where I multiply both sides by x minus 2, and the 3 squared is the 9. Multiply out the brackets, see a quadratic looming up. Okay, so I need to rearrange it, make it equal to 0. This one factorizes, and x equals 3, x equals 6. Just a word here. If one of these values was negative, I will pull this stunt on you, I'm sure, in another tutorial. If one of these was negative, remember you can't have the log of a negative value. So if it came out here as minus 3 and you put up an answer of x is minus 3, x is 6, the minus 3 wouldn't have been valid. Okay, so I will most probably pull that question out later on. All right, so see if I can catch you out. Okay, moving on. Right, time's getting on. Question 4 now. We've got this one on the factor theorem. So I'm trying to step up the levels on the pure side, okay, for you. So we've got the factor theorem. If f of x is equal to 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 3ax minus a, given that x plus 3 is a factor of f of x, find the value of a. So see how you get on with that one. All right. That should be a very short one, I feel, for you. Okay, so we have the factor theorem here. The one that goes hand in hand with this tends to be the remainder theorem, and I'll be giving you some questions on the remainder theorem, I'm sure, again in further tutorials. But a nice question. I saw a similar question to this, by the way, on one of the edXL papers. This is not one that's copied, just modified. Okay, we have a solution. I'm not saying it's correct at this stage, but we're getting a equals minus 9, and minus 9 seems to be a popular answer. The question is it minus 9? Or have any of you tripped up? we have another one, 45 over 4, so maybe it is 45 over 4. We have another 9 now, so we are getting varying answers. Minus 9, 45 over 4, minus, what is it? Minus 9, 9, yes. Okay, well, the real answer, believe it or not, is minus 9. So well done to you guys who got minus 9. Let's just take you through this very quickly. For the factor theorem, you should know that if f of x has x minus p as a factor, then f of p will equal 0. So in this example, my p-value isn't 3, it's negative 3. Okay, so all I need to do is substitute negative 3 into here and set this equation to 0, which, as you can see, is what I've done here. So if you did this process and didn't get minus 9, you've obviously tripped up, I would have thought, on this line here, just working out your values. So do go back, check that out. Okay, so last question for you, and this one is one on circles. We've got a circle C, has centre minus 5, 3, and passes through the origin. Find an equation for C. Okay, an equation. So I'll show you what I've done in a moment when we get some answers through, and we'll just see if you agree with what I've got. Give you a moment or two to work that out. It will be interesting to see what you come up with. Okay. So I can see Michael saying, let's see if we can get everyone up here with 100%, eh? Okay, we have an answer coming in. Okay, sorry, I don't know your name. I do apologise, but I can see Chinese writing there. I think it's Chinese. Do forgive me if I've got it wrong. So an answer there, and checking it out. Interesting answer. Do any other guys come up with that answer? Yeah, I went over to China, by the way, back in 2011. I was invited over there and had a lovely time. I was working for a university. They asked me to help them out, trying to put some videos up for them. So did a little bit of work there. Had about 4 or 5 weeks out there. Great time. Okay, Emma's come up with an answer. Is anybody else coming up with a similar answer? Interesting. Okay. It's quite amusing to see some of your answers. Lovely to see, though, that you're taking part. Thank you very much for coming in, supporting this. Okay, so we have different answers coming in. Okay, we can't hang around too much longer. Okay, I think I might have to say that these tutorials are not going to be 15 to 20 minutes. This one's turning out to be on the 25-minute side. But we are coming to the end almost now. So, right, this is interesting. Okay, so obviously circles possibly causing a little bit of problem for some of you at this moment in time. Do check out my video tutorials on this, okay, if you need further help. Okay, there are some answers out there, and the answer is x plus 5 all squared plus y minus 3 all squared equals, wait for it, equals 34. Okay, so let's just run through this and you can see how to do it. I don't know if any of you drew a quick sketch out. I do think drawing sketches out for coordinate geometry questions really does help. So you can see that I've drawn a sketch where I've got the center of the circle minus 5, 3. Okay, we're told that it passes through the origin. This is not drawn to scale by any manner of means, but just to give you an idea. Okay, now you should know the equation of a circle with center x1, y1, radius r is given by this equation here. Okay, so all I need to do is really establish the radius, and it's the radius squared. Okay, and we can use Pythagoras' theorem here, which is basically the distance between 2 points. And so all I've done is obviously done Pythagoras' theorem. The sum of the squares of the two shorter sides is equal to the hypotenuse squared, r squared. So r squared equals 3 squared plus 5 squared. Comes down to 9 plus 25, which is 34. You don't have to square root that. We're only interested in r squared, okay? So equation of C is x plus 5 all squared for the centre here, plus y minus 3 all squared equals 34. Don't forget to switch these two signs for the coordinates to the centre there, okay? So, okay, I'm just going to come back on now, and hopefully, there you go. Hopefully you're able to get 100% on these. It'd be really great if you did. Do tell us if you did get 100%. No cheating, by the way, okay? So it would be nice to hear your results. So, hope you found that useful, and give us a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to go to my community tab on my YouTube channel page. There you can take part in the poll to tell me what you would like to see come up. What else can I say to you? Next week, if you didn't catch it at the beginning of the tutorial, I'm going to be putting these up regularly at 10 o'clock during the weekdays. And I will be doing some mechanics, some statistics, along with the pure maths. And as I say, just let me know what you want to see, and I will try my best to bring you that stuff. Okay, hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Take care. See you later. Okay, bye now.